He'd look at me, but only the left eye would focus. The other one was still. And he definitely wasn't a pretty boy. Girl, that's okay, because we know that you don't like the pretty boys. You're sitting over there with the Albie Sure and the Christopher Williams, and you ain't want neither one of them.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down. Hold it down.
I remember hearing that a rapper on Bad Boy would be in a session on some of the days I was there working with Mary or Usher. And I'd heard the remix to Mary J. Blige's Real Love, which featured a brief rap from a rapper going by the name Biggie Smalls. But I knew absolutely nothing about Christopher George Latour Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G., until I met him shortly after my 21st birthday. So Puffy done set up this photo shoot with all the artists from Bad Boy Records. I knew there was a rapper named Big signed to Bad Boy, but somehow we'd never crossed paths until this photo shoot. I gave him a quick once-over. He was wearing a patterned flannel shirt and oversized Carl Kanai jeans that were so big they made a puddle of fabric around his Timberland construction boots. In the 80s, the guys didn't wear baggy clothes. They fit them. They was just regular blue Levi's straight leg jeans. And the shirts weren't too big. They weren't too small. Now they was wearing them nut hugging shorts with some Converse and some knee-high socks. But now the guys wear clothes that are so tight. I'm like, Ninja, if you in a shootout, where you gonna put the pistol? Where you gonna put it? You can't put it in the front because your pants too fucking tight. You can't put it in the back because you got the pants underneath your butt. Now you ninjas in shootouts pulling pistols out your ass. Then in the 90s, the dudes wore their clothes so big. It was crazy. Like you had dudes that wore like a large that were wearing 3XL. And it was sexy. Let's go, the photographer said. Puffy, I want you right here. Faith, come over and stand this way. Put your arm up on his shoulder. Craig, where are you? Stand on the other side of Puff. Perfect. Now, Big, you stand behind all of them. Good. Puffy, throw your hands up. The photographer bent down to look into the camera and kept barking out orders to us. Faith, bring your chin up, sweetie. A little more. Hold your head up. Good. During the lunch break, I was looking at some pictures I'd recently had developed from my 21st birthday celebration. Okay, so what you had to do back in the day was get a camera, click, take some pictures, then it was like a little roll that recorded the pictures that you took on a little camera, click, okay, and you took them to the CVS, get them developed. Like it would take probably, I don't know, maybe a week to develop, and then you would pick up the pictures. So then you didn't have no such thing as a camera phone. You niggas know that though. From out of the corner of my eye, I saw that Big was walking over in my direction. He sat down right next to me, a little too close. I just looked up at him and waited for him to speak. Can I see your pictures? He asked. I picked up the envelope and passed it to him. Now, Big going through the pictures. Who this nigga right here? That's my cousin. Going through him some more. Well, who this nigga right here? That's my uncle. Big just nodded. He wasn't facing me, but every once in a while he would look over at me, and I noticed that he had a lazy eye. But every once in a while, he would look over at me, and I noticed that he had a lazy eye. He'd look at me, but only the left eye would focus. The other one was still. And he definitely wasn't a pretty boy. Girl, that's okay, because we know that you don't like the pretty boys. You're sitting over there with the Albie Sure and the Christopher Williams, and you ain't want neither one of them. But that goddamn Karimi, whoever China's father name is, or you crawled all over him like a fucking roach. But there was still something about him that was magnetic. Where you from? He asked, keeping his eyes on the photos. You mean his eye? Okay. Jersey, I said. Where in Jersey? Newark. How old are you? I gave him a look. I'm old enough. You driving? Yeah, I'm driving. You got kids? A daughter? Word? Me too. The photographer was ready for us to continue the shoot, and Big gave me back my envelope of pictures. Where you about to go? He asked. I'm taking my friend home to Brooklyn. That would be the Gloria lady. Word? Can I get a ride to Brooklyn? Yeah, I'll take you. I said, you ready? Oh, you gotta take my boys home too. Pause. This is where I get the itchy and the scratches, okay? Because I don't like feeling used and being taken advantage of, okay? I don't like that feeling. And if someone asked me to take him and his boys home, when I tell you that is an instant turn off for me. Are y'all ready? I asked, because I gotta go. Remember, she is a mama. She is a mama. You know, Big, his daughter with her mama, but Faith is the mama. Big turned around toward his boys who were play fighting and slap boxing each other. Yo, come on, we getting a ride back to BK. I noticed that B.I.G. was stealing looks at me here and there. This your car? He asked. Yes, mine. I already don't like it. Because you making me feel like you can picture yourself driving my car. And them Forerunners was the shiz back in the day. As a matter of fact, that 2025 Forerunner looking real good to me. Big didn't say anything, just silently nodded, like he was making a note of it. Yeah, like he can drive this mother if he goop your girl. I could tell he was impressed. My truck wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't even brand new, and it didn't have fancy accessories like rims on it, but it was mine. Yep. He planning on driving it. Big opened his car door and lumbered out. He stood up, straightened out his jeans, and then leaned down into the open passenger side window before I could pull off. His face was intriguing to me. It was so round and soft. He was a grown man, and people who just glanced at him might think he was aggressive. But I saw the face of a little boy, sweet and gentle. And I can guarantee you, up until that time, Faith was probably the most attractive woman he had ever had without paying. Blink, if you know what I'm saying. I'ma call you, he said. I had not given him my number, and he knew it. Oh, really? I said. Yes, really. And then he walked away. I rolled my eyes and pulled off. I picked up china from my grandparents and went home. As soon as I walked into my apartment, the phone rang. What's up, Faith? I recognized Big's voice immediately. I was trying to play it cool, but I knew I hadn't given him my number, and I didn't know how he got it. Hey, what's up? Told you I was going to call you. Later on, he told me that my number had been written on the envelope containing my newly developed pictures. Gotcha, bitch. Smooth, Big. Real smooth. Because I told you, out of the Tupac and the B.I.G., Big would have got me. I ain't really cared for Tupac. Okay, they all three of them Geminis. Okay, they flip on you in a fucking second. But it was something about Tupac that kind of turned me off because I didn't feel that he was original. Now, you Tupac fans, don't find me and burn up my fucking car. It just seemed that he just took on a persona that was not him. He just became what the people were around him. Whereas Big seemed more authentic in regards to who he was. Like a dirty dude who came upon some money, and now all you bitches love me. Love it. Later on, he told me that my number had been written in the envelope containing my newly developed pictures. So as he'd been skimming my pictures during the lunch break, he'd been putting together a plan as well. But at the time, I had no idea. You should come to Brooklyn and hang out, he said. I should? Yeah, Ma. You'll have fun. Now, Big was not what you would call eye candy, not at all. He was heavy set, and he dressed in all-purpose clothes that were flashy or expensive. This guy had a dead eye and seemed to pay no attention to how he was perceived physically. And yet, despite all that, there was something about him that I was drawn to. He was bold, confident, and he had no doubt that I would go out with him. So I did. Ooh, good for you, girl. Good for you. I mean, he would have got me too. Don't feel bad. So anyway, she goes over there to where they at to hang out. Okay, and as a young girl, I always found it exciting to hang out with the guys, not to be, not so I can get attention from all the guys. I just loved the camaraderie between men, to see how they joke with each other, how they play, like how they dress. I just enjoyed watching men. I'm married to a woman, but I still enjoy what is a man. Now, I ain't about to lay down and take no dick. Been there. Done with it. So anyway, like I was saying, they was joking around with her when she was hanging out with them over there in Brooklyn. And they wanted to test her to see if she was going to be weak. She wasn't. Lil C's was joning on her. I think some people call it the dozens or ragging on her or something like that. And she didn't cry and go away. She gave it right back to him, which was impressive to them, because, they be saying women be pulling tests, but ninjas be testing too. My friend Roz, her cousin Marky, and even my daughter China became part of the crew. Sometimes I'd bring them to Brooklyn to hang out, and we'd sit out on the stoop talking and laughing. China has always been a very precocious child. When I met Big, she was less than 2 years old, but she was already talking up a storm and had so much personality. She would have Big and his friends cracking up with her sassy and fearless attitude. 2 weeks into the courtship, and it was as if I had been hanging with Big and his friends all my life. Big and his friends had jokes for days. Every time I came around, they would start cracking on my fake designer-made outfits. I took no offense and laughed right along with them. Eventually, I started hanging out inside Big's house as well as in the streets of Brooklyn. The 3-bedroom apartment he shared with his mother, Valletta Wallace, was always kept very clean and neat. At least the parts of it she had control of. At the time that I started coming around, Miss Wallace's sister was living with them as well as her brother and his family. Like most immigrants, Miss Wallace made her home available to family members who were trying to make it work here in the States, the way others helped her when she had come here from Jamaica in the early 70s. I didn't see Miss Wallace during my first visits. She was usually at work, but I knew she was a teacher, and I could tell she wanted to keep a nice home. Big's room was very different from the rest of the house. It was tiny, just big enough to fit a full-size bed, and sometimes it was pretty cluttered. I could tell Miss Wallace probably didn't go back there too often. That was Big's headquarters, that tiny bedroom. It was where he smoked and drank and listened to music with all his friends, and I was quickly added to the guest list. Miss Wallace was so aggravated with Big by then. He'd been arrested for selling drugs, had dropped out of school, and was now supposedly a rapper, something she didn't understand at all. She'd kicked him out once before, and he returned. So now they lived together but kept their distance. She was barely tolerating him, and so that back bedroom was where he spent most of his time. Even though I was now spending a lot of time with Big, I was still out with the rest of the bad boy camp as well. Puff and Big didn't hang out back then, so I usually ended up chilling with them separately. Within a few short weeks, Big and I were officially a couple. Remember, she moved fast.
Relocated.